Hello, I'm Rusty Ray with North Metro TV News, and we continue our coverage of local decision here in 2018 as we get ready for Election Day coming up on November 6th. And we are having conversations and even debate format style discussions with candidates in local races here in the North Metro. And that includes the race for Ward 1 with Blaine City Council. And I am joined now by Jason Smith, who is running for that seat, and he is running against Wes Hovland. Wes did not get back to us for this debate, and so here we are with Jason to have a conversation about what's going on. Jason, welcome tonight.
Thank you.
We're so glad you're here, and this is a conversation to talk about things that are going on in Blaine, to talk about you and why you're running.
Yeah.
And so we're going to give you the floor right off the bat for a bit of an opening statement.
Okay. I'm Jason Smith from Blaine. I've lived here for 15 years. I moved here shortly after I finished at the University of Minnesota. I did my electrical engineering degree down there and later went back and got my MBA. But I've been at Boston Scientific for 16 years and started to get somewhat involved with city local politics. And then when a zoning issue came up in my neighborhood, it kind of forced me into paying much more attention to what was going on. I found I actually enjoyed a lot of it and like looking at the strategic plan and met with some of the city directors. And I found it all very interesting.
Is that particular issue, is that what led you to this, to run for this and to seek this office?
That is what started the momentum for it. It got me involved and had me meet more people in the city that I would have naturally otherwise. And then I considered what I actually like to do and how I could get more involved with the community. And I like Blaine and I'm proud of Blaine, and I think serving on city council is a great way to help the community.
When you look at the city of Blaine, a growing community,
Yes.
hugely, just like a lot of these North Metro communities, but Blaine in particular now the largest city in Anoka County.
Yep.
What about the issues here? What is the single biggest issue you see facing the city?
Right now it's probably infrastructure for the city. I mean, if you're close at all to 65, everybody's well aware that's an issue. I think it's been an issue for decades. When I first moved up here 15 years ago, it was problematic. And as we've added more people in Blaine and Ham Lake and places north, it's become a larger problem. But even just side roads and smaller infrastructure, I think we're falling a bit behind on maintenance, and some of that could be improved in some of the parks.
And you think just by people interacting with public officials, if that's you in that role or otherwise, can affect change in that in an everyday way for even the morning or afternoon commute?
I do. That's why I got involved, is because getting involved at the local level is you can feel it immediately, and you can make changes that your community will notice and you touch every day. 65 is a complicated issue since it's more than just Blaine controlling it. It's a state road. County and state will be involved. But it's been a problem for a while, so actually getting on top of it and solving it would be a major piece of work.
Another complicated issue, maybe something you're familiar with or not. I don't believe it's come up here in Blaine yet, and maybe it won't, but in at least 13 other Minnesota communities across the state, both here in the metro and even in inner ring suburb communities like Edina and places like Roseville and other places, and outstate, 13 communities have changed the ordinances to say that you have to be 21 years old to purchase tobacco products.
Yep.
And we wondered if you were in the position and elected to city council, and if it came before city council, how would you vote on a raise of the age to 21?
I'd want to hear both sides of the debate, but immediate response is that would be definitely something to consider.
And would be something to gather a lot of information and maybe hear from, what kind of groups do you think you would have to consider if something like that came up?
So you'd want to hear from health professionals and how not selling to people under 21 would actually impact smoking rates, and is that something effective? Is that something that will help long-term preventing people from smoking?
Okay, all right. If you're talking to somebody out knocking on doors or meeting in public forums or whatever, or even just talking to a friend or a family member, how do you define the job of a city council member? How do you characterize those responsibilities or the things that may impact how you do your job?
I think of it a little bit like a business. It's kind of like the board of directors at a company, with the mayor being the chair of the board and the CEO being the city manager. And you're there to advise and set direction and maybe make some large strategic decisions. But day-to-day is run by the city staff and things like that. But you get involved where you need to set the course of the city.
If you're going to look 10 to 15 years down the line, again, we've already talked about Blaine and the huge growth, and that continues. But if you specifically look into the future, 10 or 15 years, What do you hope for? What do you hope to see Blaine happening in Blaine or happen between now and then for the city?
For Blaine, I hope that it's the premier kind of northern suburb that people from the surrounding communities come to Blaine because of what it offers. I mean, we have a lot of sports and outdoors, and with the new wetland preservation, people are coming and walking there. Would be to do more stuff like that that makes people want to come here and develop businesses that attract Blaine as a center of activity in the northern part of the metro.
If elected to city council, is there one thing that you can say, or what you would like to accomplish? Maybe it's more than one thing. What specifically would you like to accomplish as a member of Blaine City Council?
So one of the things would be transparency from the city, so that it's easy to navigate the city. When I got involved with just my small zoning thing, it was difficult to understand how it all worked and what I needed to do and how you got to talk and how you present things. It would be nice to have an interface with residents proactively before it gets to a specific zoning issue. So work with neighborhoods and understand what their concerns are. So that would be one of the biggest things is transparency. The other thing would be just addressing infrastructure, saying, are we happy with where things are at? 65 is obvious, but there's other areas where there certainly needs to be some redoing of roads and putting in gutters, stuff that was built during the 60s. We need to kind of catch back up with our infrastructure. And it would be to, develop a plan and how do we get from where we are now to where we want to be.
Okay. Those are my questions to kind of guide this discussion here tonight, but in a true debate format, we would offer each candidate a closing statement, whatever you would like to say. The floor again is yours.
Yeah, I'm Jason Smith from Blaine. I love the city, and I'm proud of this city, and I just want to be considered for city council. I think that I can offer something, a fresh perspective to city council, and help move Blaine into the future.
All right, Jason Smith, thank you for your time to be a part of this discussion, and as you move forward towards Election Day, good luck with everything.
All right, well, thank you.
All right, Jason, thank you. He is running for Ward 1, the city council seat in Blaine, against Wes Hovland. You can watch this discussion and all of our other debates and discussions with our local candidates on North Metro TV and on these city channels, like this would be on the city-specific channel for the city of Blaine. You can also read more about these candidates and these races on northmetrotv.com. You'll find all of our discussions and, again, profiles and breakdowns of those races on that website. And we will be here on election night. That's Tuesday, November 6th, starting at 8 o'clock live with election coverage, looking at the results and getting feedback and talking to people in the community about what has happened on an historic day. We thank Jason Smith for his time. We thank you for joining us. I'm Rusty Ray for North Metro TV News.